It is 1963. The story begins not with a white dress, but with the scratching of a cheap ballpoint pen on a government document. The city hall clerk is an older man with nicotine-stained fingers who looks from Elena's wheelchair to Michael's standing frame with open disdain. He asks Michael twice, "Are you aware of the custodial implications?" Michael doesn't shout. He simply leans down, kisses Elena's forehead in front of the man, and says, "I'm signing for a wife, not a patient." They leave City Hall. It is raining. Michael holds the umbrella over her, getting soaked himself. They stop at a diner. People stare. They order milkshakes and toast their wedding with paper cups, their hands trembling not from cold, but from the adrenaline of having defied the world. A flashback to the month before the wedding. Michael takes Elena to meet his parents. The house is not accessible. Michael has to carry her up the front steps while the neighbors watch from behind curtains. At dinner, the pot roast is dry and the silence is suffocating. Michael's mother asks Elena, "So, how do you plan to keep a house?" Elena, hands shaking under the table, describes her systems. His father asked Michael, "Is this fair to you, son? You'll be a nurse before you're 40. In the car ride home, Elena breaks up with him. She tells him she loves him too much to ruin his life. Michael pulls the car over on the highway, turns on the hazard lights, and refuses to drive until she admits that she is scared, not him. My life is empty without you," he says. "That is the only limitation I am afraid of." They move into a ground floor apartment that is barely habitable. The landlord refuses to install a ramp. We see the physical toll of their love. Every evening, Michael comes home from his factory job, exhausted, and spends 3 hours building a wooden ramp in the dark using stolen lumber scrap. Elena holds the flashlight. She watches the sweat drip off his nose. She feels the guilt of being the reason he is working so hard. The night the ramp is finished, Michael is too tired to celebrate. He sits on the bottom of the ramp and puts his head in his hands. Elena rolls down it for the first time, smooth, perfect. She reaches out and massages his shoulders. It is their first realization that love is manual labor. They have no money for furniture. To make the apartment beautiful, they buy paint. They paint a rug on the floorboards, they paint frames on the walls. It is a time of intense romanticism and crushing poverty. Elena learns to cook sitting down, burning her arms on the stove repeatedly until she invents a system using mirrors to see into the pots. They host a dinner party for Michael's work friends. One friend gets drunk and makes a joke about how Michael can't go dancing. Michael puts on a record, pulls Elena's wheelchair into the center of the room, and spins her with such elegance and rhythm that the room goes silent. They own the space. Michael contracts a severe case of pneumonia. For the first time, the roles reverse violently. He is bedridden, delirious, weak. The neighbors assume Elena will call his mother to help. Instead, Elena takes charge. She navigates the apartment with ferocious efficiency, ferrying soup, medicine, and cool cloths. She sleeps in her chair next to the bed for 4 nights. Michael wakes up, fever broken, to see her dozing in the chair. He realizes that everyone was wrong. She isn't his burden. She is his fortress. He cries quietly, too weak to speak, watching her chest rise and fall. Elena works as a glorified secretary, despite having a better mind for logistics than anyone in the office. A new manager arrives and tries to fire her, citing safety concerns regarding her chair in the aisles. Elena comes home defeated. Michael writes a letter of resignation to his own job in solidarity, but Elena stops him. She says, "We don't quit, we outsmart." They spend the weekend drafting a legal layout of the office that proves her chair takes up less space than the filing cabinets. She presents it Monday. She keeps her job. They celebrate with cheap champagne, but Elena sees the first gray hair on Michael's temple. The novelty has worn off. They are tired. The stares don't stop, but now they're just annoying rather than rallying. They have their first massive fight, not about disability, but about money. Michael buys a motorcycle he can't afford, a desperate grasp at freedom. Elena feels trapped. They don't speak for 3 days. The apartment feels small. Elena leaves for a weekend to stay with a friend. Michael is alone in the house. He realizes the silence isn't freedom, it's a vacuum. He sells the motorcycle. When she returns, he is waiting on the porch. "I'd rather walk with you than ride anywhere else," he says. They decide to try for a baby. The doctors are cruel. One suggests Elena should be sterilized to avoid passing on her genes, even though her condition isn't genetic. The intrusion of the medical world into their bedroom is devastating. Intimacy becomes a scheduled, clinical act. Another negative pregnancy test. Elena throws it against the bathroom wall, shattering it. Michael comes in, sees the pieces, and doesn't say it's okay. He sits on the floor tiles and says, "This sucks. This hurts." He validates her pain instead of trying to fix it. They pivot to adoption. The 1970s adoption agencies are skeptical of a mixed-race couple, let alone one with a disability. They face rejection after rejection. Files are lost, phone calls aren't returned. They build a nursery anyway, an act of defiant hope. They get a call, a baby boy. He is available immediately. They rush to the hospital. When the nurse places the baby, Marcus, into Elena's arms, she instinctively checks the wheels of her chair to make sure the brakes are on. The nurse sees this and smiles. "He's safe with you," she says. Marcus is a toddler who runs. Elena cannot chase him. This is her nightmare realized. She has to parent with her voice and her wits. She creates games like red light, green light to control his movement. Michael installs low latches on everything. A stranger at the park sees Marcus running towards the street. Elena screams. The stranger grabs him and brings him back, looking at Elena with judgment. "You really should have a leash on him if you can't get up," the woman says. Elena goes home and weeps. Michael finds her. He goes to the garage and builds a custom sidecar for her chair so Marcus can ride with her. Elena, at 38, discovers she is pregnant. It is a miracle and a terror. The pregnancy is high risk. Her spine struggles with the weight. She is put on bed rest for 5 months. Michael becomes the sole engine of the family, working, cooking, cleaning, parenting Marcus, and bathing Elena. He ages 10 years in 5 months. One night, Michael falls asleep standing in the kitchen while washing dishes. Elena hears the crash. She crawls, literally drags herself across the floor because she isn't allowed to sit up, to check on him. They end up lying on the kitchen floor together, surrounded by broken ceramic, laughing hysterically because they are too tired to cry. Sarah is born via C-section. Elena nearly dies on the table due to blood pressure issues. Michael is held back by doctors, screaming for his wife. He makes a bargain with God. "Take anything. Take my legs. Take my mind. Just keep her here." Elena survives, but the recovery takes a year. Michael has to lift her into the bath every night. There is no romance, only survival. But in the washing of her back, in the gentle drying of her scars, a deeper, holier intimacy is formed. Marcus is 15. He is angry. He is black in a world that treats him differently than his white father. He resents his mother's chair because it draws attention. He stops bringing friends home. He yells, "Why does everything in this house have to be about your legs?" Michael grabs Marcus by the collar, furious. Elena stops him. She rolls into Marcus's room. She doesn't yell. She shows him old photos of the protests she attended in her chair. "I have never hidden," she tells him. "Do not hide yourself." Marcus cries in her lap. Michael is up for a VP position. The company throws a gala. The CEO's wife treats Elena like a child, speaking slowly and loudly. Michael sees this. He is offered the job that night, a massive salary, but it requires moving to a city with terrible accessibility and leaving their support network. Michael turns down the job. He tells Elena it was because of the culture. She knows it was for her. She feels the weight of his sacrifice. She buys him a gold watch with the money she saved from her own freelance editing business. Engraved on the back, "Time is on our side." The kids leave. The house is quiet. They look at each other across the breakfast table. They are different people now. Michael's back is bad from years of lifting the chair into trunks. Elena's shoulders are shot from years of pushing. They are physically worn down. They have to relearn to be lovers, not just partners in logistics. They take a trip to Paris. They find the city incredibly inaccessible, but they don't care. They drink wine on the sidewalk. Michael carries her up the steps to see the view from Sacré-Cœur, his knees shaking, refusing help. He tells the tourists, "I've got her. Michael meets a woman at his consultancy. She is younger, fit, hikers. She represents the life he didn't have. They have lunch. Nothing physical happens, but an emotional door opens. He talks to her about things he doesn't tell Elena. His fear of aging, his back pain. Elena senses it. She doesn't scream. She waits for him to come home. She has laid out a map of their life on the table. Photos, tax returns, letters. "I cannot hike the mountain with you, Michael," she says softly, "but I built the ground you stand on." Michael breaks. He cuts off the contact the next day. He recommits, terrified by how close he came to losing his compass. It's not Elena who gets sick. It's Michael. Prostate cancer. The radiation weakens him. For the first time, he cannot push her chair. He cannot lift the groceries. The geometry changes. Elena gets an electric chair so she can move without help, and she attaches a small wagon to the back to carry his things. Michael weeps in the garage, looking at his tools he is too tired to use. "I'm useless," he says. Elena rams her electric chair gently into his shin. "You are my husband. That is a full-time job. Sit down and let me drive." The medical bills from the cancer wipe out their savings. They risk losing the house they spent 30 years modifying. The bank threatens foreclosure. Elena goes back to work full-time at 60. She leverages her contacts and lands a senior editor role. She works 12-hour days. She saves the house. Michael brings her tea while she types, watching her with awe. The burden myth is finally completely dead. She is the provider. Sarah gets married. She asks Michael to walk her down the aisle, but Michael is frail. He stumbles during the rehearsal. He is humiliated. On the wedding day, Elena modifies the plan. She and Michael both escort Sarah. Elena in her chair on the left, Michael holding on to the chair's handle for balance on the right. They move as a tripod. The guests cry. It is a perfect visual of their interdependence. Sophie and Malik are born. Grandparenting is different. Elena can't run with them, but she becomes the storyteller. Her lap is the sanctuary. Michael teaches them to build things. Malik asks, "Grandpa, why do you walk funny?" Michael smiles, looks at Elena, and says, "Because I spent a lifetime leaning toward your grandmother." They finally stop working. They downsize to a bungalow, no stairs. Life becomes slow. Coffee, newspaper, garden, doctor, sleep. The romance is in the rhythm. It is in the way he cuts her meat without asking. It is in the way she reminds him to take his pills without nagging. Michael falls in the shower. Elena hears the thud. She cannot get to him because of the shower lip. She throws towels over him to keep him warm and calls 911, holding his hand through the open door until help arrives. In the ER, the doctor asks Elena, who is his medical proxy. Elena answers, "I am his medical proxy, his memory, and his heart. Talk to me." The first signs of dementia in Michael. He forgets the route to the grocery store. He forgets names. He gets angry or scared. Elena becomes the anchor. She puts labels on everything. She remains calm when he shouts. He wakes up one morning and doesn't recognize the room, but he looks at Elena and smiles. "I know you," he whispers. "You're the lady with the pretty eyes." Even when the context is gone, the love remains. Michael can no longer drive. Elena drives the van. She manages the finances. She hires the help. She protects his dignity fiercely. When old friends visit and Michael repeats a story 5 times, Elena laughs at the punchline every single time as if it's new. A golden party. They are the elders now. Young couples look at them and say, "I want that." Elena wants to tell them, "You want the party, but do you want the vomit, the poverty, the silence, the work?" She just smiles and says, "Just keep showing up." Michael's world shrinks to the living room. He sleeps a lot. He holds Elena's hand constantly. If she lets go, he panics. Their world is reduced to the touch of skin on skin. Michael has a moment of lucidity. He looks at the wheelchair. "I'm sorry I couldn't fix it," he says, referring to her legs. Elena squeezes his hand. "You didn't need to fix me, Michael. You just needed to love me." And you did. Every morning, despite his confusion, Michael's muscle memory works. He shuffles to the kitchen. He makes the coffee. He forgets the sugar. He brings it to her. Elena drinks the bitter black coffee. It tastes like iron and smoke. She praises him. It is her daily act of love, accepting his imperfect offering as perfection. Michael stops locking. He is in a hospital bed in the living room. Now they are both on wheels. They park their chairs next to each other, facing the window. They watch the birds. They don't need words anymore. The vibration of their presence is enough. Michael enters the final stage. His breathing changes. The family gathers. Elena clears the room. She wants the last moment to be theirs alone. She lowers the railing of his bed and leans her head on his chest. She tells him the story of their life, the city hall clerk, the ramp, the baby, the Paris steps. "You can rest now," she whispers. "I'll be right behind you. I just have to lock up the house." He takes one last breath, and the silence that follows is not empty. It is full of 61 years of noise. The funeral. Elena sits by the casket. She does not wear black. She wears the blue dress he loved. She sees the young people staring at her, the grieving widow in the wheelchair. They look with pity. Elena speaks. Her voice is strong. "People looked at us and saw a man carrying a burden. They were wrong. He didn't carry me. We carried each other. He was my legs, but I was his spine. He was the force, and I was the direction. It was never a burden. It was a privilege." 3 months later, Elena is alone in the kitchen. The sun hits the counter. She makes a cup of coffee. She reaches for the sugar bowl, the spoon hovering. She stops. She puts the spoon down. She drinks it black. She closes her eyes and smiles, tears running down the wrinkles of her cheeks, savoring the bitterness because it tastes exactly like him. "Good morning, my love," she whispers to the empty room. "Perfect again."